Happy Tuesday! Happy Tuesday! It's time for our weekly card class, and I just can't wait to share with you the fun that we are going to use today. We're going to use the Grow with Love bundle, and we're going to use some new products that just launched today and all kinds of things. So let me show you today's card. Looks like this. Good morning, Ty. And when I first saw this bundle, my favorite thing about it was this die here. They call it a seed packet die. And I love anything with a little pocket or a little envelope. And so that's what we're going to use today. We've got a little fun pull out that we're going to make for inside. And then our card opens up. The designer series paper we're going to use today is from our annual catalog. And it is the perennial lavender paper. We have used this all throughout the year. I love it. My favorite is that it features a lot of the color crumb cake, which I think is so beautiful, especially with the Lost Lagoon and the gorgeous grape, all the pretty purples and berries that are in this paper. So that is what we're going to use today. So let's first talk about this seed packet die. So here is one that is already cut out. Let me pop it off of here. I keep all my dies on a magnet card so I don't lose them. But here is this seed packet die. And so what I love is it cuts out this shape, but it also puts in the score lines, which helps us know where and when to fold it. So here is a piece of paper that I cut into 6 by 6. So 6 by 6 will fit in your full-size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And a lot of our paper packs come in 6 by 6, and even our 12 by 12s, it's an easy cut to cut it in 4, right? And so I ran this through and die cut, and you can see it's got all the score lines on there, which makes it really easy to fold this up. And we have this cute little seed packet envelope. And of course you could do it, with either side of your designer series paper showing. And just like so, it just makes a cute little envelope for anything, right? Good morning, Lizzie. Grow with Love. Aren't you excited? I know she loves this bundle with me. So we are going to use this on our card. So when you die cut this out, we fold it up. And then what I like to use is some tear and tape adhesive. Don't need scissors for this, right? Because it's tear and tape. We just tear it and we tape it. And so then I just put one of these lines of tear and tape. You just want to make sure that it's really stuck to wherever you're putting it. And then you can just grab the tab and pull that off. And then I just close this up, easy. And then we just need one more for this bottom fold. So same thing, just make sure you got that on well. Peel this off. And if it's not peeling, we usually just need to adhere it a little bit more, but there we go. So we've got that peeled, and then you just stick that down, and now we have our cute little seed packet envelope. I mean, we could just finish the video here. That's all you need. It's the cutest little thing ever. And so I love that. So I like to put little tags and envelopes onto my card bases. I think they're super cute that way. And so that's kind of what we're gonna do today. So let me grab some of our parts and pieces. Of course, the dies have all the shapes to cut out, the stamped herb images, some banner images, and a couple other things. You can make like a little button, we'll call it here, if you wanted to have a little closure. We're not going to do that on today's card, but that is also in there as well. So let me grab our card base. So I've already cut it for us. If you need any of the measurements, the supply list, or anything for today's cards, they will be listed in my customer email. My buzz bulletin that I send out each week comes with a free printable PDF tutorial for you. And so all that will be listed as normal. So we've got our first piece. I love this crumb cake. I think this kind of plaid makes for a great background, right? So we're just going to adhere this the front of our card. Then I have a couple of new things that I'm going to share with you that we're going to use today that I think are like knock it out of the park new tools for us. Okay, so first thing, we just adhered that to the front. We're going to take our seed packet that we put together, and I'm just going to adhere it on the packet part. I'm going to leave the envelope, like this opening, we're going to leave that loose. And so then I just took it and kind of adhered it at an angle, stuck that down, just let that kind of dry for a second. I liked this piece kind of open and loose. You could adhere it down if you want, but I kind of like that it looked like a pocket, so I left it as such. Then I'm going to take this piece of gorgeous grape that I cut from another one of those perennial lavender papers. It is some gorgeous paper in our annual catalog. And so we're just gonna stick this right in the center as well. I like putting DSP in the inside of our cards as well. Just gives it a little more and then some, right? Okay, so now let's get to do some stamping. So I've got just a piece of grid paper here, just a scrap, and I've got an inside piece that we'll use on the inside, but let's do some stamping first. So I've got some Lost Lagoon, and we've got our mint herb. So I love this one. So we're actually gonna stamp off for this one. So we're gonna stamp onto our grid paper and then not re-ink, and we're just gonna directly stamp off so it's a lighter version on that inside piece for our card. So then we'll open this back up, add a bit of adhesive. I love this new stamp set, this Grow with Love bundle. I think it's so cute. And then after we got our paper pumpkin last month, which coordinated with it, I was like, I sure can't wait to play with this because that paper pumpkin was so darn cute and it featured a lot of these same images. Okay, so our inside piece is done. Now we want to make this pull card for the front of our card, right? So to do that, we are going to grab a piece of scrap, and we are gonna grab this stamp from the set. It's like this border stamp, we'll call it. And we're gonna grab some gorgeous grape ink. So I want to share with you a couple of tips on this. So there is a die in our die set here that will cut this out. And so first, when I was using this, I die cut a bunch of these out of basic white and then stamped them. And let me show you what happened. So hopefully you can see this. I'll put it on my hand so you can see this. It is super hard to line up those lines if it was already die cut. So my tip for you on this is to stamp and then die cut, not die cut and then stamp. So let me just ink this up in gorgeous grape. We're just gonna stamp them, and two fit on my little card here. So we'll just stamp those, and then I would run this through my die cutting machine. I'm gonna take my Lost Lagoon here, and I've got You're on My Mind. So we're just gonna ink this up and stamp that down on the center of both of those. And then what I would do is put my die on there. It's much easier to line it up that way, and run it through the die cut machine. And to save us just a tiny bit of time, then I would have my piece. So see the difference when in the border, when I stamped it and then die cut it versus die cutting it and trying to get that stamp on there exact, it just did not work for me. So that is my tip. Stamp first, then die cut. So we'll save that piece. I'll put my little mistake away, put my die back there. And then we need one more scrap here, and we need that same mint stamp. We're gonna ink this up in Lost Lagoon, And we'll just stamp a couple of those. We just need one, but I always like to fill up the page. So we've got that stamped. And then there is a die in the set that will cut that out. And so the magic of the TV is I've already done that for us as well. So that is, I think, yep, that's all our stamping and die cutting. So with this piece here, you know me and I love some design interest. And so I took my crumb cake, since we have crumb cake in our paper and in our base here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of speckles to this piece, just so it gives it a little bit of design interest. So now it just doesn't look as plain. Gives it just a little bit of pizzazz, right? Everybody loves some pizzazz. So we're gonna bring in a piece of gorgeous grape here, and I'm just gonna add some adhesive to this. And again, all of these measurements will be in your Buzz Bulletin email. If you're not part of that list, the link will be in the description of this video on YouTube, and you can sign up to be on that free email list as well. So we've got that adhered. We're gonna let that dry for a second, and while we do so, let's take our mint here and add a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of that. And we're just gonna stick this to the front of our little seed packet. So I used this line here as my guide, and I just kind of centered that right on there. So we just have a little bit of fun with that. So now we want to have this as our little card that we pull out, right? But it needs a little pull, so we need to add some ribbon. And so that is what we're gonna do, just like I did here. It gives us our little pull element, right? And so Stampin' Up is so great. They just came out with the cutest. So Lizzie, I know you're gonna want these. Ty, I know you're gonna want these. So add these to your list, because this is the Hole Punch Trio, and they are the oh so cutest little punches I think I've ever seen. So they've got an 1/8 inch circle punch, which is great for punching like a hole if you're adding linen thread or any kind of twine or anything that's like a thin, that needs a thin hole. So I love that one. Then there is this fun tag kind of topper with a little bump in it. So that is super cute as well. And then the one we're gonna use today is probably my favorite one in here. And this is kind of the tag, I don't know what you call it, but the tag notch area, right? And so we are gonna use this. I like to use these upside down, because if you try to do it like this, it's kind of hard to see where it lines up. So I like to use it upside down, and I'm just centering it right below this line on that stamped image, okay? So we're just gonna punch that through, and you can see it leaves the perfect little tag slot. Ribbon slot, that's what I like to call it. It leaves the perfect ribbon slot. If you need this longer, what's great about this one is we could just do another one. We're not gonna do it today, but you could just line it up, and you could make this as long of a slit as you wanted. So this is the Trio Hole Punch, just launched today for everybody. There is a stamp set, a tag stamp set that goes with it. Of course I got that too, but we're not using that on today's card. And I think these are a must have. This is a great element that you can use on so many of our cards, right? Okay, so we've got our little ribbon slot, that's what I like to call it. And a new ribbon that we're gonna use today that launched is our white 1/4 inch ribbon. And so I keep all my ribbons with one of those sewing pins. And so we're just gonna take this ribbon. I love the texture in this ribbon. I think it especially goes well with this kind of gingham plaid background that we're using today. I've got my ribbon scissors, and so we're just gonna trim that off. And so I like to, my little trick for these ribbons, I love that it's just a 1/4 inch, right? And so we're just going to fold it in half and push it through easily, this slot. That's why I love that. Let me just be able to grab this. And so we're just gonna push that end through, pull it, and open this part up here. Makes like a little hole, right? And so then we're just gonna pull this through that, and then it will secure it to our tag here. But then we're gonna do, so that's easy peasy, right? Make sure you can see that. Now we're gonna add some linen thread in a double bow that goes around this part, because it looks great like this, but it is a bit plain, right? So I'm just gonna take my linen thread here, and we're gonna double it over. We're gonna double it over, and I'm just gonna trim this end here. So we've got our linen thread doubled over. So now we're gonna put this behind our ribbon. And we're just gonna tie it in a bow. So we're just gonna tie a knot. And then we're just gonna tie our bow. Just like a little shoestring. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to trim our edge here. And there we have our super cute bow that is around our cute little pull tag. So do you love that tip? Do you love that, how easy that is? And these super cute punches, I'm looking at the comments now. Do you see those super cute punches? Do you have to have them? Do you love this Grow with Love bundle? Tell me. I'm watching the comments to see if anybody, Ty, Lizzie, I know you're both on with me. Aren't they just the super cutest? Maybe my comments aren't catching up, right? Well, I think they are just adorable. And so then we can just take this and slip it right in our little card slot. If you want to trim your edges, let me just grab my ribbon scissors here. I like to, when I'm gonna trim this, put the card in, then I kind of know how much I want to trim. I like it to stick up a tad from the card base, because that'll just tuck in the envelope real easy. And then we just open that up, and that is our super cute card. Of course, it needs a little bit of bling. So we've got our purple fine shimmer gems here. We're gonna use the gorgeous grape ones. And I've got my take your pick tool. So we'll just go ahead and add 3 of those. Maybe one little bit higher on this one. And there you have this super fun Grow with Love, super cute card. That seed packet, like I said, that sold me on this set, because I think that is just the most adorable die. And paired with these super cute punches, I think it's a must-have, right? This trio punch, they are just the cutest. I mean, everybody's got to have those in their craft room, right? All right, and here's that stamp set as well. So if you missed anything today, make sure you check out my blog at stampinqueenbee.com, or find my buzz bulletin with all of those measurements and instructions. Have a great day, everyone.